Hello everyone, welcome to the Storyist. Sometimes in life, we get blinded by material things that we lose sight of what's really important. We often overlook what we already have, like life, love, health, or a loving and complete family, just because we are running after things we couldn't grasp, like money, fame, or all of the other material and mundane things we see people post on social media these days. We see things that are tangible, but we neglect the intangible gifts that we already have. They say you might not recognize the gifts you always wish for just because they come in a different package. But what people don't understand is that blessings are often in disguise. We might not know it, but the very thing we have been praying for is actually in front of us, staring back at us. We just don't realize it. Today, I will be sharing with you a story of a wife who learned this very important lesson in life, as she leaves her husband and 3 kids behind to find a better life. But when the husband hires a nanny for their 3 kids, something surprising happens. Watch until the end of the video to see what happens. Katie is a cleaner at a law firm. She has been poor her entire life, and all she has ever wanted was to get out of the misery she is in. Her parents used to gamble and drink a lot when she was young, so she never had a chance to have a proper education. She took waitress jobs at fast food restaurants during the day, and at local bars at night. Because of lack of education, she never had an opportunity to grab a better paying job. So, in order to finance herself and her 2 younger siblings, she worked double time. While waitressing at the local bar, she met a handsome young man who never took his eyes off her since the moment he entered. This made Katie blush a lot, until finally, before the bar closed, the man went up to her and asked for her number. It wasn't long until the 2 started dating. The man's name was Teo, and they were very happy. He would often fetch her from the bar she was working in and would take her on dates. The dates weren't fancy because Teo was just a college student. He had fees to pay too, so he was never really able to shower Katie with material things. Instead, he showered her with love and offered her most of his time. Not long after, Teo graduated from college, and just after taking a job from an agency, he asked Katie to marry him right away. Things for the newly married couple were going great, at first. Teo's job was not paying him a huge amount, but it was just enough for the 2 of them to get by. Katie was doing okay with her job as a waitress, too. Things seemed to be going fine until their first baby came. When they had their first child, both of their income seemed insufficient to uphold a family of 3. Because of this, Katie was forced to look for another shift, and she landed a job as a janitress at a law firm. Teo, on the other hand, decided to try his luck in business. So he quit his job and used up most of his savings to start a small business online. Katie did not like this. She was furious and she wanted Teo to go back to his agency. But he kept on assuring her that his business will soon work out. After 3 years, Katie is still working as a cleaner in the same law firm. And Teo is still earning even less than he did at the agency for his startup business. However, this time, they have 3 children to feed and support. As each day passes, Katie is just getting more and more furious about Teo's decision to focus on his business. That is obviously never going to work out. "Trust me on this, honey, it'll soon work out. Just have some faith in me," Teo keeps saying. But Katie never believes in him or even shows support, because all along she thought that it is the stupidest idea. Katie is getting really, really impatient. One day, while at her shift in the law firm, Katie accidentally enters the men's bathroom. She is surprised to see one of the lawyers in the firm inside, buttoning up his shirt. The lawyer just looks at her and smiles. Katie is stunned by the man's charms, with his beautiful smile and tantalizing eyes. Shyly, Katie blushes and starts scrubbing the floor. Before leaving, the lawyer looks back at her and says, "I've been seeing you for quite a long time here, and I never had the chance to introduce myself. Do you want to have coffee with me and maybe get to know each other?" The 2 of them continue on dating in the coffee shop the lawyer offered. Katie does not bother to tell the lawyer that she is married. Instead, after their coffee date, Katie immediately runs home and packs her belongings. When Teo sees this, he is baffled. "Where are you going?" he asks. "I'm going to leave you, our kids, in this miserable life," she coldly replies. This breaks Teo's heart, but still, he wants answers. So he continues to ask Katie why. "I met a man so much better than you. He has a car, a good job, and a lot of money. He can buy me things you couldn't. And he doesn't rely on fate for some stupid business to take off," Katie says and storms out, like she was never part of Teo's life. Teo has no idea what to do next. He has 3 kids in his custody that need care, but he also has to work. Because of this, he is forced to hire a nanny even though he can barely afford rent. Luckily, the nanny he hires is a very kind-hearted one. She knows that Teo is going through a hard time, so she insists for Teo to pay him for a job only for 1 child, but she will take care of all 3. Teo is impressed by how she is trying to help, and not soon after, he finds himself falling for the nanny. The nanny, on the other hand, is very supportive of Teo's small business. She obviously did not come for money, and she's not planning to go home with some. She just genuinely cares for the kids and Teo. Because of this nurturing and daily encouragement from the nanny / his new girlfriend, everything in his business has gone great. Soon enough, Teo's business grows and their family grows with it. Teo's business soon becomes successful, and with the help of his new girlfriend, they build a family way better than their first one. Meanwhile, while all this is happening to them, Katie's life gets worse and worse. Her life turns out to be great with the lawyer, at first. He showers her with shiny diamonds, takes her to fancy dates inside his fancy car, and gives her expensive gifts and flowers. But not long after she left, she catches the lawyer on a coffee date with another girl. This breaks her heart and she runs away as far as she can. She tries to come back home, but when she reaches her old house, Teo and her children are not there anymore. Years passed and Katie is still working as a janitress at a mall. One day, while scrubbing the floors of an expensive flower store, she runs across her ex-husband. Katie is so surprised to see Teo after all those years, and he is as shocked as her. He is wearing an expensive suit and he just bought an expensive sunflower bouquet. Teo? Wow, you look amazing. I almost didn't recognize you. Katie blurts out. Teo just responds to her with a nod. Katie admits to him what happened, and Teo apologizes for not being there to console her. When she asks about the flower he is holding, Teo explains that it's for his girlfriend who helped him during his lowest times, and who also contributed to his business blowing off. Katie is so embarrassed to hear that her ex-husband is rich now. After a while, a woman with 2 teenage boys and 1 girl approach Teo. They all together call him Daddy, and Katie realizes they're her children. She wants to hug them for the first time in years. But then she hears them call the woman beside them Mommy, and that's when she realizes that she no longer has the right to call them their own. She is devastated to learn that her children don't even recognize her, but she knows it's her fault. Before they finally leave, Teo walks towards her and says, "Thank you for leaving us. Maybe it was really the head start we needed to start life anew." And after saying this, he's gone. Katie sits on the floor crying, while she watches Teo surprise his new love with an expensive bouquet of flowers. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we'll see you on the next.